Whew. It's quite obvious that there is hunger and there's thirst for truth, for righteousness, for principles that are going to liberate us. And that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. And it's going to be a great blessing to you tonight. Okay. All right. It is 7:05. 5 minutes of grace done. Let's get into our conversation tonight. My special guest tonight, he will be joining us in another number of minutes because he had another online session, special singles masterclass that he runs daily. Reverend Samuel is quite a prolific minister of God's word, very practical and very relevant. So that's going to round up. That other session he's running right now will round up in another number of minutes. And once he rounds up that, he will log in here and join us in the conversation. And it's going to be a blessed conversation. He's raring to go. And I can see that you guys are also hungry and ready to receive the truth that's going to be shared here tonight. And that's absolutely great. Thank you for being on. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for registering. It's going to be a blessing to you. Just laying some groundwork so that we are all aware of how things are going to run and we are all comfortable with how things are going to run. We're going to deal with questions and answers a little bit later in tonight's session. There's a question and answer button in the dialogue that you can use to be able to post your questions. That's where we want you to post your questions. Please don't post your questions in the chat because we can easily lose the questions that are written inside the chat column. Make sure you put it in the question and answer column. There is the capacity to be able to ask your questions anonymously in the chat, in the question and answer column, so nobody needs to know exactly who asked the question. But if you don't mind revealing your identity also, we don't mind that, but there's the option to make it anonymous if you want to do so. Okay, it's going to be a blessed night. It's going to be a powerful night. We want to try to keep it within the 1 hour allocated, but our experience in the last number of Mondays is that we typically need a little bit of extra time because there's so much truth to share, and participants really want to receive so much more than what we're able to squeeze into this limited amount of time. But we'll do our very, very best. Now, we are all living in this world. We all understand the challenges of the time that we're living in with the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic and all the issues that has resulted, the consequence of that. Our whole world has changed. We are at various stages of lockdown dependent upon where we are located around the world. It has literally changed our world. In response to that, very early on, the Lord impressed upon my heart that we should start running Monday webinars, and we themed those webinars Surviving COVID-19 Boot Camp. And that's what we've been doing for the last 5 Mondays. This is the 6th installment in that series. And what we've done every Monday is we've taken a very topical issue and gotten some experts, some minds in that area to come in, and we have discussions on those particular issues to be able to help people. And it has been a great blessing. We had a phenomenal time last week, Monday, with Pastor Kunle Shorian, as we started talking about repositioning for the whole new world. And that was phenomenal. We wish we had 2 more hours to keep on talking, but we didn't have all that time. But tonight is going to be absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Okay, I'm not going to give you much details on Reverend Sam right now until he is on. When he is on, then I'll introduce him a little bit more, give you a few more details on him. But we're going to dive right into the subject for tonight. We're going to dive right into the subject for the night. We're not just going to bid time waiting for him to come on. We're going to start dealing with the subject. So the first thing that I want to do tonight is that I want to run a poll. I want to run a poll, and the poll is going to come up on your screen. in a few moments' time. Now, the question that I'm dealing with in this poll, the question you're going to see when it goes up is leadership something you can acquire or something you must be born with? This is a different way of asking the evergreen question of, are leaders born or are they made? Okay, is leadership something you can acquire or something you must be born with? In other words, if you're not born with it, you can't be a leader. But if you are born with it, then you can be a leader. Is leadership something you can acquire, or is it something you must be born with? You have three options to choose from. You either agree that it's something you must be born with, or you vote for it's something you can acquire over time, or you vote for I don't know. I don't know. So you're going to have just 1 minute to answer this poll. So I'm launching the poll right now. Okay, so let's start voting. Can you see the poll? Go ahead and start voting, start choosing. Is it something you can acquire over time, or is it something that you must be born with, or you don't quite know the answer to that question? Quickly answer, okay? I can see people are already answering. We're moving fast. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yes, 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 that's good, that's good. 61% of us have answered the question. I've got to be born with it, or I've got to acquire it over time, or I don't know. Quickly vote and let's know what your standing is. 71% of us have answered the question now. All right, go on, go on, go on. Yep, yep, yep. Vote, vote, vote. Yep. Is this something you acquire over time, or is it something that you are born with? Is this something you acquire over time, or is it something that you are born with? 79% of you have voted, waiting for a few more of you to vote. All right, let's see, let's see. All right, okay, we are over the 1 minute mark, so I'm going to stop now. 80% of us have voted. All right. He's now joined us. Thank you, sir. Good to have you on here.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Good to have. I was in a little bit of your earlier session, and I could see that you were busy. Well,
it's breaking.
You know. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. How are you, sir? Can you hear me too?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Brilliant. Awesome. Great to have you on here.
I'm so honored to be with you, sir. So honored.
All right, so we had already started rolling, so we're just going to keep rolling. We're going to hear from you. Threw out a poll for the people that are already on board to answer. And the question of the poll was, is leadership something you can acquire or something you must be born with? And from the results that I can see here, we have 10% voted for leadership something you must be born with, while 92% voted for leadership is something you can acquire over time, and nobody voted for I don't know. So everybody had a clear opinion on this one. And the larger majority believe that leadership is something that they can acquire over time. I'm sharing that result with everybody for everybody to be able to see the result. Now, everybody that's on Zoom will be able to see that result right now of that poll. And that's a very, very interesting result right there, where people are saying that leadership is something that can be acquired over time and not necessarily something that you must be born with. And despite the fact that the majority of people have voted in this way, I am going to subtly disagree because I am yet to meet the leader that was not born. I am yet to meet the leader that was not born. In other words, before you can be born. So every leader was first of all born. So the truth is every leader must be born. Yes, you can acquire leadership skills over time, but in the first place, you must first of all have okay, I'm going to stop sharing the results of that poll round about now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Reverend Sam. Reverend Sam is my dear brother and my dear friend. He's an author, a transformational speaker, pastor, relationship instructor, Springtime Leadership Consult, and founder of the Springtime Leadership Foundation. He's the founder and senior pastor of the Transforming Church, which is headquartered in Abuja. He's prolific. He's an enigma. He's a around the globe as he speaks on very pertinent issues, and two of his critical passions are relationships and leadership. So I'm absolutely excited to have him on here tonight to discuss with us and talk to us on the subject of leadership, okay? So how is the sound right now? Some people are telling us that there was some crackling going on, but I think it has settled down now. Is it okay now? You can chat inside the chat column. Let's know whether the sound is okay now. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now it's okay. It sounded, I think it was a fan or something that was causing that earlier. So now the sound is okay, or it is better. I'll continue to project my sound so that I can be heard clearly. All right. Okay. It is said that the womb of crisis is the birthing place of new leadership. The womb of crisis is the birthing place of new leadership. Why? Because crisis, by definition, is a situation where things are out of control and unpredictable. So in crisis, we look for stability, we look for control, we look for stability. And therefore, we look for leadership. We look to leaders to give us stability, control, and certainty. Crisis, therefore, creates an opportunity for leadership to rise. So we need leaders in the time of crisis. And this is the time, there's no time of crisis like the type of crisis that we are in. It's an existential crisis that we are facing all over the world. The crisis of the pandemic, the crisis of the subsequent lockdowns, the economic crisis. And while still trying to struggle with all of those crises, now we have the ugly head of racism, right? And fanning the flame of anger and annoyance and all of that within us. Yeah. So we are facing a challenging time, and there is no time like this where leadership is needed even more. So that is the reason for the subject of tonight's discussion. The title is Leadership for a New World. Our normal is totally changing. So now we need to set ourselves up. What are the major shifts that have to take place in leadership in the new world? That's the question we want to primarily address. A number of other questions have been asked. And when we get to the question and answer time, we will come to those questions. But I want to quickly hand over the ball over to Reverend Sam and ask him his own perspective on the new normal, the new world that we've stepped into, and what he considers to be the major leadership shifts that we need to make.
Well, thank you so very much. You know, Pastor Temi, I honor you so much for the brilliance that you always exude. You know, you're in a class all alone by yourself, so some of us don't try to train you. We don't try to train you at all. You know, so it delights my heart to be with you today, particularly because we're talking about a subject that you know is very close to my heart. Leadership is my obsession. Leadership is my pursuit. It's what I've done and I've studied for over 25 years. Now, when it comes to the concept of leadership, indeed, we have entered into what I'm a geologist by training. And as geologists, whenever there is an earthquake, anything above 5.0, 6.0 on the Richter scale,
yeah,
and if it causes a major dislocation on the ground, we say there's a seismic shift. Okay, what that means is that point A is no longer where it used to be before the earthquake took place.
That's right.
Currently, our world have just experienced a major seismic shift.
That's right.
Businesses will never be the same. Churches will never be the same. Enterprises will never be the same. Leadership will never be the same. Sir, what you have seen all over the world is the failure of the concept of leadership that have driven leaders to the peak of their careers.
Yeah.
That is why in so many countries, there was poor response to the COVID situation.
Yeah.
It all boils down to leadership, the anticipatory capacity of leadership.
Come on, talk.
Yes, because part of the main thing a leader should be able to traffic in is that first, a leader should be able to see farther than others.
Come on.
It's critical, sir. Once a leader gives up that cutting edge, the leader becomes a follower.
That's it.
And a leader is not supposed to be a follower. A leader is supposed to be a trailblazer. A leader is supposed to be a go ahead before we come behind. So the anticipatory capacity of a leader is a critical must-have for leaders of the 21st century. So our world has just gone through a major seismic shift. Dynamics will never remain the same. And right now, those who are able to understand where the leader, two things have happened. Not only do we have a leader shift, Pastor Temi, we have a leader switch.
Yeah, come on.
There can't be a switch until there is a shift. You can't embrace the old and become a new. So first there must be a departure from the new in order to conceptualize from the old. There must be a departure before I conceptualize what the new can become or can be. So we're dealing with leader shift and leader switch. Okay? So I want to try, I have a short time, but I'll try to bring in some concepts here and hope that it helps most of us who are watching. The first thing to do, sir, is to try to attempt the question that was a survey. Are leaders born or are leaders made? That's a question. The answer is both ways.
That's right.
Leaders are born, but extraordinary leaders are made. So you can be born with leadership traits. It does not guarantee the fact that you're going to become an extraordinary leader.
That's right.
Extraordinary leaders are actually made. What that means is that there is a growth mindset that drives extraordinary leaders. Scarcity mindset is the reason why those born as leaders never become extraordinary leaders.
Come on.
So I just thought I should give a little input into that. There's what we call the great man theory, the trait theory in the world of leadership, but I don't want to bore the audience with all that academic jargon today. So let's come down to the concept of leadership. But before we get to leadership, can we look at leadership?
Mm-hmm.
What is leadership?
That's
I will start from the known, and from the known we'll move to the unknown.
Come on.
If I ask the audience, what is leadership? The common definition you're going to have is that leadership is influence.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that is a fantastic definition that has helped us up till now.
Yeah.
The reality is that that definition is insufficient as a definition.
That's it. Come on.
Leadership being influence is an insufficient definition of leadership, because then leadership influence becomes an end and not a means.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, influence is not supposed to be an end, but a means. So leadership is influence plus purpose.
That's right.
Leadership is influence plus purpose, meaning as I become a celebrity, I become a singer, and I have 5 million fans following me. Now I have influence, but influence without purpose is useless.
That's right.
What will I do with this influence that I have? That's when leadership begins to find expression.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am an entrepreneur, and because of my entrepreneurial prowess, I am celebrated around the world. Now I have a lot of followers. I'm a pastor. I have a lot of followers. So now I have influence. People are following me. The question is, what will I do with influence? So I want to summarize again. Leadership in the 21st century is now, unlike the 20th century definition of leadership, leadership in the 21st century, in post-COVID era, leadership is influence plus purpose.
That's right.
Influence plus mission. What do I want to have influence to carry out? What is the purpose of which I seek influence? Do I want to garner influence so that I can bring attention to the plight of young girls who are brought into early marriage? Am I going to use my influence like Mother Teresa of Calcutta to help the leprous people in Calcutta? Will I use my influence like a Bill Gates to say, hey, you know what? Mortality rate in Africa must be dropped. What am I going to use my influence to accomplish? It is a critical conversation that is now taking place in the world of leadership. And that is what you saw during this COVID era. Footballers, even in England, footballers use their influence to say, hey, you know what? I know people like me. Why don't I garner the influence and provide food for people who are hungry? Mm-hmm. Musicians did the same. Unfortunately, our politicians who are still stuck in the old concept of leadership, which is influence, they were shocked to realize that they were maintaining their position, having their influence, but they've lost their relevance.
That's it.
So it's critical that we can go back to that foundational definition of leadership. I also want to say that leadership in the 21st century is a capacity to exercise influence with a very strong commitment to move a group or an enterprise from point A to point B. So leadership is the exercise of influence in order to create movement. If that is a concept that we're embracing, and we saw that in this COVID experience, we are seeing that also with the civil rights movement that is gathering up in the United States now. It's about, can I use my influence to create movement? Can I exercise my influence in a group such that I'm able to move the group from point A to point B? Let me now sum up all these definitions under one definition. And that comes from John Edmund Agard. This is how he puts it. Leadership is the exercise of deliberately using special influence within a group in order to move the group from its current state to its desirable state. So as we traffic in the world of leadership post-COVID, our assignment should be, how do I take my company from point A to point B? How do I move my unit, my department, my team from point A to point B? It is a deliberate exercise of influence within a group to move it from a current position to a more desirable position. Leadership. Now, when it comes to leadership, we're saying here that the leader who will exercise influence must also have a shift in his own paradigm.
That's right, in his thinking.
Say it again.
In his thinking.
Absolutely, sir. The mindset that will move a group must now be altered in order to move the group to its highest potential. Because the law of the lead always has effect. The leadership, the mindset of the leader can become the lead of the group. Meaning a group with potential may not be able to outrise, outsmart, and never be able to go beyond the mindset of its leader. So in this season we're in, the first thing leaders who are thoughtful are doing is checking their leadership lead. What was the existing paradigm that governed my thinking before COVID came? What can I do in this COVID experience to move my leadership lead upward, my mindset, so that I don't become the suppressant of my group? Because no matter how many gifted people I have, if my mindset does not rise up, I will keep them where they are. Not because that is how much they can be or how much they can do. My mindset becomes a limit. So when we say leadership, we're saying the leader's mindset, the paradigm, the predominant perception that governs the mind of the leader must be shifted from a scarcity mindset to a growth mindset. And beyond growth now, we need to move the leader's mindset to a benefit mindset. Let me say this way, sir. If you notice what happened during this COVID experience, so think about this. Alcohol manufacturing companies, when they noticed during this crisis that people were no longer drinking alcohol, what did they do, sir? The leader, his mindset had to be shifted, his paradigm, to say to himself, this is not all we can do. Producing alcohol is not all we can do. We can do more. So all of a sudden, we saw alcohol producing companies shifted into producing sanitizers. Car manufacturing companies shifted, sir, into producing ventilators. So in the midst of this, there were still leaders of industries with machines that could have produced the same, but they were stuck in the paradigm of the old.
Come on.
So I'm trying to show you how that the leader's paradigm will ultimately determine his performance in the post-COVID era.
That's it. That's true.
Your capacity to quickly shift your paradigm will determine how fast you are able to move ahead of the curve in the market space where you find yourself. All right, so let me take a little bit further here. So we're looking at leadership. I wish I can touch a lot more on that, but because of my time, I'll move on. But there is something, sir, called leader switch. And I want to deal with that because we're not having much of a talk around that. And that's very crucial. When it comes to leader switch, we are talking about the fact that a leader has the capacity to change his leadership approach, behavior, and interaction style in order to fit that of the people that the leader is leading. But don't forget this. The leader first must understand leadership, which is that I have influence, and that I want to use this influence to accomplish something. Yes. Okay. Number two, the leader must now say to himself, this influence that I want to use to accomplish something, I can't use it the way we used to do it.
Yeah.
So leader shift. Now that I've already discovered that I'm about to use influence in a new way to move my group towards higher performance, I now need to be mindful not to drive the people in such a way that I'll meet with resistance. So the deployment of my influence within a group must be such that my style of leadership, my approach and behavior must be suitable to the mindset or the way the people prefer to be led. Now this is this is a little bit critical. See, in the leadership era, we led people the way we want them to follow us. We are in a millennial generation. They don't like to follow the way you like to lead. They expect you to lead them the way they want to follow.
Come on.
This is where there's going to be a switch. The leader can no longer lead the people the way the leader wants to lead them. The leader will have to interact with the people.
Come on.
To figure out from the people, how would you want me to lead you? See, leadership style is now going to be reversed. Instead of coming from the leader to the people, it's going to be from the people to the leader. So it's no longer our company only produces cars. If that's all you're doing, we want sanitizers now. So because we want sanitizers and the leader can listen, the leader adapted his leadership style to meet the need of the people that the leader is leading. So now we see a car manufacturer, we see airplane company like Boeing going into health products. That is leader switch. That is adapting my leadership style, my leadership interaction, my behavior towards the way the people want to be led. Why are we having challenge in America today, sir, and around the world? Our leaders are still stuck in the leadership mode, where they believe you have no choice but to follow me. So we saw the Arab Spring. We saw it in Egypt. We saw it in the Middle East. All of a sudden, young people are rising up to say, sir, we will not follow the way you led our fathers. Our fathers followed you because they were a compliant generation. Millennials are not a compliant generation. We are not rebellious. We are not deviants, but we question.
Yeah.
And we like to let you know that our fathers were silent, but we are a speaking generation. Now, leaders who are in the leadership mode are finding it difficult to handle that generation. That is why those who are stuck in the leadership mode still find it difficult to connect. They are communicating to millennials, but they are not connecting. Because there can be communication until there's connection. And there can be connection if you don't understand the preferred interaction style of the millennials. They have what you call their PIS, their preferred interaction style, how they want you to communicate to them. Pastor Temi, you know, you cannot be sending them telegram.
You can't.
You can't send them letter and tell them, go and pick your letter at the post office box. It's even foreign to them. And when you're writing them letter, they don't want long letters. That's why they came up with Twitter. Make it short. And even in your texting now, they are saying, look, even the text is too long. Must you write happy? We've given you emoticon now. This is how we love you to interact with us. Don't write happy. Put an emoticon. That's how we want you to interact with us. So, yes, sir. So we're having a problem. There are people occupying positions right now who don't know the switch to make. Because they don't even know we're in an era where there is a need for a leadership switch. So check our churches, sir. In America, 70% of our young people, once they are leaving college, they don't go back to church. They leave the church. Why? Because our pastors have not learned leader switch. Pastor is still wearing suit, 3-piece suit, with a solid tie. Now, Pastor Temi, look at our Papa in the Lord, Pastor, the Honorable Metropolitan Pastor Adefarasi. Just look at that man of God with his swag, his canvas. Now that's a man who understands leader switch.
Yeah.
How do customers want to be served? I'm breaking it down now. Gone are the days when you serve customers the way you want. Reverse is the case now. There's a way customers prefer to be served because loyalty is no longer guaranteed. You don't serve me the way I want. I take my money. I walk away from you.
I go somewhere else.
And I will send you an emoticon telling you, Baba, I'm gone. Music. I was with Kirk Franklin. We had a meeting just about a year ago, and we're talking about the fact that a lot of singers are still carrying CDs about, looking for people to buy CDs, not knowing that the world doesn't want to listen to music that way anymore. They don't consume music that way. We like to do downloads. And so people are still stuck with CD.
People moved from downloads now, it's streaming. I don't want to fill my phone or my device, fill up all the memory when I can stream this thing online and not use up my own memory.
There we go, sir. So can you see now what I'm trying to do today is trying to make sure that by the end of this conversation, I hope that somebody will get it. Somebody will get to see the gap between desire and performance. Somebody's going to see the gap between being talented and having results. It is not the absence of talent. It is not the absence of gifting. It is the inability to adapt your gift, your talent, your product, your services, your solutions, your concepts to the consumer. So we're no longer in the season of consumer service. We're in the season of excellent consumer service. Whereby it is no longer about me meeting the needs of the consumer, but it's about making sure that I meet their need and exceed their expectations. Watch the word, exceed their expectation. Meaning I should know their expectations. So here we have a situation where Toys R Us store in the United States, I was there on the Saturday, Toys R Us shut down. Why? Everybody was going online. Toys R Us was still waiting for customers to come and meet them in the shop. They lost out. And there are people watching me who have shops in England. In fact, they are anointing their shops with oil. Let's go. I'm telling you, Pastor, there are people, I don't know, Pastor, have you heard about something called mantle? There's something called
they're using mantle with oil. They're using mantle with oil on their shop.
So people go to their shop with mantle and they hit the shop telling customers, and I've had people say things like, customers, come unto me now. And they are so disappointed, sir, that after all those confessions, customers don't come. And then they begin to question God. Why are customers not coming? I pay my tithe. I give my offerings. I anointed the shop. I struck it with, I struck the shop with mantle. In fact, I brought mantle from Jerusalem. You know, so unfortunately, sir, they don't know that the people in their community prefer now to receive service through e-commerce. We're talking about leader switch.
Yeah.
If you're going to be progressive, it's time to start leading people from their preferred interaction style. Serve people the way they want to be served. Now, Pastor T, look at you now, sir. That's exactly what you are doing. You could have hosted this seminar today and say, I don't care, by the grace of God, I'm hosting this conference. I'm hosting it inside church. Everybody must come.
By force, by fire.
And you get the prayer warriors to be praying around the doors and be calling all of us, including me, to appear in London today. So, you see, but look at what you've done, man of God, to show that you are a switcher. You are a leader who knows how to switch. You simply brought it to us because this is how we prefer now to receive this service.
Yeah.
We like to sit down in our house with our popcorn. Some of us are watching with pajamas. Some of us are watching. So we are not under that church stress, wearing tie, looking organized. Some of us, as we are watching you, sir, we are laughing. Some people are giggling right now. They can't do that in church. This is how we want you to serve us. So here is the key. There are few switches or shifts that leaders must make to remain relevant now. Number one, there must be a switch from leading others to leading self.
That's it.
This generation, sir, this generation has zero tolerance for hypocrisy.
Did you hear that, people? Did you hear that? Zero tolerance for hypocrisy.
Millennials have zero tolerance for hypocrites. Now, there's something about millennials. They can condone whatever your weakness is if you are sincere. They are a very tolerant generation when it comes to you telling them your weaknesses when you are real with them. But if you pretend to be holier than thou, and you know these millennials, they are better than our generation. So you know, Pastor Temi, in our own time, when pastors do bad things or leaders do bad things, there's no way we can find out. In fact, we are not even expected to find out. But right now, this generation, they are the ones busting pastors, busting leaders. I have a letter from an 18-year-old girl who wrote her father and said, Daddy, you call me a bastard. I just want to remind you that it takes a bastard to give birth to one. That's an 18-year-old writing her father. She said, I'm not my mother that you have silenced. I will tell you the truth. That's an 18-year-old talking to her father. That, Dad, you thought you can fool everybody, including my mother. Well, you can fool my mom because she's foolable, but you can't fool me. I know and I've known before my mother ever got to know that you were having affairs. The point I'm making, sir, is that self-leadership is a critical leadership requirement in this particular era that we find ourselves in. Learn to lead yourself before you try to lead others. Learn to lead yourself before you lead teams. Learn to lead others before you lead leaders and lead organizations. Self-leadership. The failure of self-leadership is the reason why great leaders around the world today are coming on bended knees because they fail to lead themselves. I think I remember in one country, Pastor Temi, you know geography more than I do. I think there's a country where I think their president was telling the people to be safe, they should wear masks, and I think the president was not wearing masks himself, you know. So, and I know you know some of these countries.
Yeah, I know some of those countries.
So here we have a situation where the people are now saying, how dare you tell us to wear masks and you don't? Self-leadership. Post-COVID, there will be a very serious scrutiny on a leadership capacity, on a leader's capacity to self-lead. People are going to watch you to see how you lead before they think you have the right to tell them how to lead. People are going to watch how you organize yourself, how you conduct your affairs before they submit to your authority as a leader. Number two, we must go from leading followers to leading leaders. Post-COVID is a major lesson. Sir, organizations that focus on raising followers suffered greatly during this COVID experience. Because now the people are at home and they don't have leaders to tell them what to do. So organizations became stunted in their growth because they focused on raising followers. We were able to, in our church here, we were able to break our church into zones. So throughout the COVID experience, my leaders were taking care of the people across the city.
That's it.
I didn't have to interfere. They know what to do because my goal is to raise leaders and not followers. Now that organizations are going to be having people working from home, the question is the person you're asking to work from home, have you developed the self-leadership capacity of the person? Productivity in most organizations will go down because they've raised followers, not leaders. Our future post-COVID is in our capacity to raise leaders and not followers. Number three, there is a switch now, sir, from imitation to innovation.
Come on.
The innovative capacity of a leader will determine how fast his organization will thrive or move. How quick are you to innovate? How swift are you to innovate? You don't have to wait for COVID to be over before you start thinking of what your business will do. You missed a great opportunity during COVID. For a car manufacturing company to quickly switch into ventilators.
Come on.
For an alcohol wine producing company to quickly switch to sanitizer, cosmetic industries. Cosmetic industries quickly moved into producing also, sanitizers. Fashion industries. Who know now that nobody's going to be wearing clothes anymore during COVID experience, decided to switch into making face masks.
That's it.
How innovative are you? The most innovative countries are the ones topping the innovation, what you call the innovation index. Funny enough, Great Britain is trailing behind some of those countries. And it has been discovered that countries with high innovative index usually have their per capita usually very high.
Yeah.
So the time has come for leaders to begin to practice what we call vujade, not deja vu.
Oh, man of God.
Yes, sir. We just try to keep it simple here, sir, because of so deja vu is the way it has been. Vujade is the way it can be. So innovative leaders have the capacity to look at things long enough to see what it can be as against what it has been. So innovative leaders are not always in a hurry to look at things and pass. They will look at a microphone that has a cord, and they will say to themselves, I notice that the speaker is struggling. Anywhere he's going to, the cord is limiting him. Now, that's the way it has been, deja vu. But can we flip it around? Must the microphone have a cord? Can't it have an antenna so that the speaker can be free? Vujade, flip it around. So now we can have a microphone that has an antenna. And you remember how it was, man of God, in those days. The antenna was very long. Later, somebody say, hey, must this antenna be this long? And then again, Vujade, flip it around, and we have shorter microphones with no antennas protruding.
Yeah.
Somebody then said, wait a minute, must the speaker always hold the microphone? Can you have a lapel mic? Vujade, flip it around. And now you have a lapel mic. And then somebody said, wait a minute, the speaker must he always be conscious of something here. How about putting its head one? And so we have the head one once. And then somebody said, look, they are too big. Can we make it almost invisible? That's what I want to say to everybody. Society is not yet in a perfect state. No matter how good your society is, there are still gaps. No product is yet in its final state. The implication of this statement is that everybody has an opportunity to look at things carefully, listen to the consumers, and listen to what they are saying about the imperfection of that product so that you can improve on the product, innovate on the product. You don't have to create, you can innovate. iPhone came out first. Samsung innovated on iPhone. They didn't create iPhone. They made billions from innovating iPhones. It's called Vujade. Can you look at society? Can you look at your service sector? Can you look at the restaurants? Can you ask yourself, must everything be like this? It is called analytical thinking. Can you look at things closely enough to find gaps in them? Because don't forget my words, society is not yet in a perfect state.
Yeah.
Everything, that's why you have iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone, I don't know what iPhone we have right now.
11 Pro.
Now that's not the end. Vujade. Flip it around.
Man of God.
Look at your house. Look at your house and ask yourself, when was the last time I rearranged this house? Must my furniture remain like this? Deja vu. Can't I vujade it? Can't I rearrange? Because if you stop rearranging your environment, it will start affecting your creativity.
Yeah.
I have so much to share, sir, but I think we are almost right on the time, 2 minutes to 6. Let me respect your time. So much to talk about.
I'm actually going to ask our viewers for some injury time. So can they give us an extra, let's say 15 minutes, an extra 15 minutes, as many of you as can stay on for those extra 15 minutes, that would be absolutely great. If you are not able to stay on, we fully understand. This session is being recorded and it will be available on our various social media platforms afterwards, but really do stay on, because really what I want to do is I want to get into some questions that people have sent. And I know that some of you have questions that you want to post there. Somebody has even already written a question here. So Reverend Sam, this is his passion. It's my passion also. I'm doing so much to just let him talk that I don't want to talk, because if I start doing my own now, we won't be asking for 15 minutes. So I want us to be able to delve into some of the questions that have been asked. But I think, have you finished the points that you wanted to make? I know you can't finish them, but
But maybe I'll mention one more point that I think is very important.
Okay.
Because what I've done is to actually, because that's part of my job in the School of Leadership, every event, World Cup, we'll sit down, we analyze and look at the leadership principles to draw from every success and failure. So one of the things we found out that is a major shift and switch that must take place for leaders post-COVID is to move from isolation to collaboration.
That's it.
Stop, sir. In New York, we noticed something. The Governor Cuomo said something about New York. They discovered that in New York, up till this moment, when we had the COVID, they never knew that in New York, there was no health, there was no hospital system.
Mm.
So hospitals were in competition with one another. When COVID experience came, there was now a need for the hospitals to become a system. And that was how they were able to defeat the COVID experience, the pandemic in New York, functioning in collaboration.
That's it.
Synergy, diverse competencies coming together to create maximum impact.
Mm.
None of us can be better than all of us.
Mm.
Together, we can accomplish much.
Mm. Mm.
We are in the days whereby companies can begin to look at strategic partnerships and alliances.
Mm.
Sir, the reason I'm on your platform is because of friendship, partnership.
That's it.
So we're delivering on this today because of strategic partnership.
Yes.
None of us can be better than all of us. So post-COVID, leaders are synergizing.
Yes.
Leaders are collaborating.
That's it.
Isolation leads to desolation.
Mm-hmm.
Post-COVID, the needs of our world will far supersede what a single person or a single enterprise can take care of.
Yes.
So I challenge every leader looking out, watching right now, to begin to think about strategic partnership, strategic collaboration. Yeah. I think I'll stop here. Another time we'll talk about the rest.
Thank you, man of God. I mean, brilliant thoughts. And we definitely have to do repeats of this and explore more. This last point you've just made is so important because it's one of the things the Holy Spirit said clearly to me, that this is the age of collaboration. It is
Absolutely.
not the age of the Lone Ranger. You've got to leverage your relationships and see how to work together. That's how you're going to be able to have greater impact. I had noted down some points, that I said, okay, I would have shared, but you've literally, the Spirit is one and great minds think alike. Some of the points I talked about or was going to talk about was self-leadership. You've talked about that. Was going to talk about foresight, the need for the new leader to be able to see more and see more far ahead.
Absolutely.
Be able to preempt not just the good, the bad, and the ugly, to have considered every possible outcome, both the one that would be pleasing to you and the one that wouldn't be pleasing for you, so that you already have your plans in place to be able to handle what is ahead. Foresight is going to be critical to the leader. What is happening in the world today is largely because we couldn't foresee, or majority of people didn't foresee this kind of crisis, and therefore didn't make plans or didn't put plans in place to handle if this type of thing happen. One other area I wanted to talk about that I think is extremely important is the emotional intelligence of every leader.
Yes, sir.
A leader needs to learn how to be like Jesus, who was asleep in the hinder part of the boat when all hell was breaking loose. How to remain calm, especially in a time like this. It is very important that leaders have the inner strength to be able to exude calmness, to be able to exude strength, that I'm not panicking like everybody else is panicking. I'm not, because a lot of people draw their strength from how is my leader handling what is happening right now. So leaders should be emotionally intelligent about themselves, but also intelligent about the people that they are leading, to know where the emotions of the people that they are leading are, and know how to harness those emotions. Because again, we are in a generation where people are doing more with how they feel than even with how they are cognitively thinking. The generations you're talking about, the millennial generations, even the Generation Z, are more emotive, are more moved by their feelings than, oh, you're making a whole lot of sense, as much as they also prioritize sense. Now, somebody asked a question here. There's some question that came in earlier, but one puts a question on here. It says, can a leader operate in every sphere? Can a leader operate in every sphere? That's a broad question, but Reverend Sam, I don't know whether you want to just quickly shoot an answer for that one.
All right, so the question is, can a leader operate in every sphere?
Yes.
Here's what I want to say. You only have a lifetime.
Yes.
There are seven spheres of existence. We have education, we have family, we have government, we have arts, entertainment, and sport, we have religion. So I'm just trying to imagine you don't have more than 50, 40 active years of your life, at most 50. Unfortunately, many of us even get started late. We don't even get to discover what we should be doing until about 30. So for somebody who started at 30, this is, you know the rules, sir. You need a minimum of 10 years of practicing one thing in order for you to become recognized in that field. I wonder how you're going to devote 10 years to become better at everything in different fields. And when you become better, when are you going to practice? We have 7 spheres. I wonder how you're going to devote 10 years to each of the sphere. Honestly, it's a waste of life. The Bible says very clearly, if your eye is single, your body will be full of light. Here's what I say to people. When you are multi-talented, the problem with that for a multi-talented leader is that multi-talented leaders have been found to become a great liability to their enterprise instead of an asset. Their multi-talented ability makes them become a liability instead of an asset. Number 2, multi-talented people most times, in the pursuit of trying to do everything, die below average. So the request is this: all leaders must find one thing you want to do so very well in a particular sphere, leveraging on other spheres to help you accomplish this thing in your sphere. For instance, you are a speaker, but you are leveraging media to get across to us.
Yes.
That's how it works, sir. Yes. I can leverage on other spheres in order to actually accentuate, in order for me to maximize my own calling within a sphere. But I can't leave what I'm doing now at this age, and I'll go be learning how to handle camera, editing, and I'll be learning how to do sound engineering. Man of God, I know you will even be concerned about my mental state. So here's my advice. Find one thing in a sector that you're going to give the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life to. You want to come to the peak of that thing. And once you're able to come to the peak of it, you can now begin to diversify into related aspects. Everything connected to that thing, you are free to do. But that thing you must master before you start spreading your energy towards everything related to the thing. So that it is me branching out, not me jumping around.
I agree totally with you. The points you've made are just right on point there. Yes, leadership principles are applicable in whatever sphere. But for you as a person, you should focus on find out what your own main thing is, become a master in that main thing, and then you will find out that you are able to leverage the other spheres to assist you in that main thing. Thank you, man of God. That was right on point. One of the questions that had come in earlier, that I'm going to quickly throw out there. Maybe before I throw it out there, let me quickly talk about one of the areas you spoke about also that is very important, which is we've got to adapt to virtual leadership. The world that we have moved into now is no longer going to work by the old leadership paradigms or structures where
Absolutely.
you have to physically gather people at a particular meeting place to then cast vision to them and then do all of those things before you now send them out and they go out. It's not going to be effective anymore. People are not going to respond to that. So we've got to make a shift and a switch, just like Reverend Sam has said, to virtual leadership, meaning that we've got to all gain some level of basic competence in the digital space, in how to use Zoom, in how to use social media. Social media has ceased to just be a tool for socializing. That has become the front door of everything, of marketing, of leadership, of business. So now you've got to take that platform more seriously and think about, how am I going to use this platform for what I am called to do, for what my purpose is. So that's what I mean when I talk about virtual leadership, how to lead in the digital space, gaining competence with some of these things. And that I'll use as a segue to invite everybody that's online to join us next week, Monday. Next week, Monday's webinar is going to be on leveraging the digital world in a digital space in a new world. So we're going to talk about social media, how to use Facebook, how to use Instagram, how to use Twitter, how to use all of these things to be able to effectively do whatever it is that God has called you to do. Look, street evangelism has ended in this season. Man of God, even when they remove lockdown with social distancing, you now be stopping somebody and say, I want to talk to you, and there's 2 meters. Say, I don't have your time. So the social media space, the social media space is the new evangelical field. So how can we train and release evangelists into Facebook, train and release evangelists into Twitter, into Instagram, who know how to shop for the unsaved there, engage them in conversation, get them born again, and get them to even join the virtual church, the e-church. They don't even need to ever come to the church building. This is the mental paradigm shift that we've got to make, because we're so stuck in the old. Meanwhile, the world has moved on. So you don't want to miss next week, one day. It's going to be absolutely great. We're going to be talking about the digital space and all of that. Okay, the question that is here: how does a leader manage a shift, even though they are clearly articulating the vision to carry along those that they are influencing? In other words, they are casting the vision, they're trying to carry the people that they're influencing along with them in the vision. But sadly, the people under them don't seem to see or trust the vision of the leader. They're not following this leader, even though this leader is managing a shift, is articulating the vision. This is what we need to do. This is where we need to go and all of that. But his people just don't seem to see what he is seeing or don't trust the vision of that leader.
Okay, so I get the question, and I think the question is simply, what do we do in a situation whereby a leader is casting a vision, the people don't seem to trust him, the people that are not following, they are not joining in the shift? It's for a few reasons, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the leader must learn. You see, these are problems I was talking about: switch, shift, and all of that. Shift, switch. Leader, shift. Yes. Leader, shift. Leader, switch. Very important. It's about the concept. Now, a leader, I have suffered that. A leader who keeps communicating to the people without connecting with them is going to meet with resistance. First rule, a leader must never ignore the fact that whenever people gather together, there are power brokers.
Come on.
And you don't communicate to power brokers when you are communicating to their followers. Because even though you are the new pastor in charge, what you don't know is that there are sub-pastors who are not titled pastor, but there are people that when you are in a board of about 12 people and you are talking, there are people in the meeting. All they just have to do is they just look at few people and you are talking, they are looking, they are influencing, you are speaking. It is critical that you understand that wherever human beings gather, there will be loyalties. Your assignment, like John C. Maxwell taught us, is to identify the power brokers. Never ignore them. Such people, you don't have meeting with them with the general public first. You meet with them individually. For instance, if I know that you have about 5 people that you influence, and I want to pass an announcement across to the team next week, wisdom requires that I connect with you first. And I just give you a little bit of an heads up on what I'm trying to do next week. And I want to say, what do you think about what I'm planning to tell the group? And then you can tell me, say, oh, you know what? I think if you do it this way, you do it that way, it's going to be good. I say, wow, that idea you just shared with me, I'm going to incorporate it so that will be what we'll present to the people. You see, it's a law of buying. If he can buy into it outside the boardroom, he will influence those who are hearing it in the boardroom.
That's right.
Never ignore power brokers. Number 2, never ignore the best way to communicate in such a way that the team will get it. There are lots of people when you are talking generally to the public or to a team, they don't get it when you do generic conversation. Some will require that you also use graphs because they understand pictures. But for many of us who grew up in a verbal generation, we are not textual. Then there is a generation that is textual, but not pictorial. If you look at the mix of those in your leadership team, you may have to combine everything. Identify power brokers, combine in your communication, textual, verbal, pictorial, bring everything on board. Beyond that, you may even still need to ask individuals who may seem lost if they understand it. The major problem is not that of not communicating. The issue is that of connecting. If a leader can focus on connecting, communication will be easy. Connect before you transmit.
Brilliant. I couldn't have said it better. Wonderful. Our time is done, but there's just one question that was posted on the platform that I want us to try to address, and then we will call it a day. It says, should a leader listen to gossip from people they are leading? Because I realized that one major thing that can mislead a leader. This is the context of a lot of leaders sometimes believe they need information about what's going on in the grassroots. So they open their doors to listening to gossip from various quarters. Is this a wise practice? And if it's not a wise practice, exactly how is that to be handled?
Now, Pastor, what I would say is that it is incumbent upon us as leaders to decide who is in our inner cycle. That's number 1. Number 2, we have to decide where we will get our information from. A leader should never take the information from someone that the leader does not consider to be somebody who carries such level, such weight of trust. You can't take a word from somebody you've not trusted over the years and just take the words of the person and just run with it. And then I always say that no matter what people tell you, even from the most trusted, because sometimes the most trusted can become mischievous.
Yes.
Even from the most trusted, you want to make sure as a leader, make sure you are slow before you react. Take your time, check, double check, ask questions, do a lot of findings before you come to a conclusion concerning the matter at hand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if a leader acts based on what you just hear, you may be shocked to know that there are lots of saboteurs around us. There are a lot of sycophants. There are lots of Joabs. You know Joab in the Bible, who was close to David?
Yeah.
Joab will fight anybody, and you will think that Joab was fighting for David. Little do we know that most of the battles that Joab fought, he fought for his own advancement. There are people that would look like they are fighting for you and they are loyal to you. The reality is that it is disguised loyalty. Everything they are doing is not in your interest, it's for their personal advancement. So leaders must be very cautious.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Brilliant, brilliant. We've got leaders thrive on information, but you've got to, just like Reverend Sam has already said, you've got to vet that information. You've got to know where are trusted sources of information. But even at that, you still got to double check, triple check, be slow to react. In fact, I say don't react to respond. The difference between reaction and response is a reaction is knee-jerk, while a response is deliberate. You've thought it through, you've processed, and then you respond appropriately. Then another key point is never just hear one side of the story, because there's nobody that's going to tell a story and make himself the villain. He's always going to tell it in a way that puts him in favorable light. He'll tell you that he used his cheek to hit my fist. You know, so you've got to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to make any judgment now until I get more information. I hear the other side of the story. And once people know that you as a leader do not entertain just flimsy stories and all of that, they stop bringing it to you. All right. God bless you all for being online and staying with us through the duration of this webinar. We've gone over the time that we allotted, but it's all good. It's all good, and I trust that you've really, really been blessed by it. Make sure you join us next week, Monday, which is the 8th of June. Monday, the 8th of June, we'll be talking about leveraging the digital space in a whole new world. It's going to be powerful. Got some experts in that arena that will be with me answering our questions and teaching us what to do. All of us have to become experts when it comes to the social media space now, when it comes to how to navigate this world, because that's where this world is now. Let's make Reverend Sam feel very, very, very warmly appreciated. So right now, type your thank yous to him in the chat column. If you can give a thumbs up, if you can throw some applause, that's great. This place is going on fire with the appreciation of you, man of God.
You made it possible, sir.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sam. We've got to do this again, and we will do this again. Our competence, though very focused and laser focused, obviously goes beyond this. You and I know if we enter spirits now, it's another story. So we have many areas to collaborate on, and by the grace we will do so. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation in the midst of such a busy schedule to be here. God bless you. God bless you, sir. You're a phenomenal gift. If you're not already following Reverend Sam on all of the social media plans, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go and look for him on all of those platforms and make sure that you're following him. He's a blessing to the body of Christ. And if you're not following me, I don't know. I don't understand. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Bye-bye.
Amen. Bless you, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you all. See you next week, Monday from 7 p.m. The adverts for it will go out soon. Before the end of this week, so you'll get the link to be able to register for it. You really don't want to miss it, so make sure that you're in on next week, Monday's webinar. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening all.